Yes, a very pleasant good morning, children. So today we are going to continue with the poem Amanda, though we discussed its theme and you people told me what this poem is all about on the basis of what you people were able to make out. So yes, it's a very simple poem, but yes, with a deep meaning. So often it's Amanda, the protagonist, the main character of this poem. She's an adolescent like you people all are. Okay, adolescent is a child who is neither a small child nor is actually a very grown-up fellow. So what adolescents usually, they keep on struggling to find a place for themselves in the world. Like what kind of struggle do they have? Like neither are they able to establish themselves as a small child, nor are they able to establish themselves as an adult. And even the parents or even the grown-up, the world of grown-ups keep on, underestimating them or even try to snub them with what they expect their lives to be what. So usually these adolescents, they are snubbed by the aspirations or the high ambitions of the parents. And usually these children are not able to, these adolescents are not able to express themselves. They are not able to find, they are not able to establish the world of fantasy, which has been with them right from their childhood. So the world of fantasies, the world of imagination, which is a big part of their life, right from their childhood, that is something which is inseparable from these children, from these adolescents. And the fact is, like, children should not be, snubbed to the extent that they forget their world of fantasy. Children should be allowed to live with their fantasies, with their imaginations, because that is what makes children grow up that. So let them be comfortable with their world of fantasy so that they are able to establish themselves very, very profoundly in this world of reality. Okay, so that world helps them settle. Otherwise, children find themselves out of place. You people will see that in this poem, you might have already seen, you have already told me also, like the children, here Amanda is an adolescent child who is being constantly nagged by her mother for one or the other thing. And it happens. Okay, when she is nagged for one or the other thing, initially, how does she respond to that nagging attitude of her mother? Initially, she remains quiet. She doesn't respond much. She doesn't overreact. But yes, she keeps withdrawn in her own world of fantasy, and she decides to be there as it is. But slowly and gradually, yes, she starts reacting also. How does she react to that nagging attitude of mother? That you people will tell me by the end of this point. So let's see, don't bite your nails, Amanda. So don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight. So here the words like Amanda has been repeated 3 times. So repetition in the very first instance. When a word is repeated straightway for more than 1 or 2 times, we call it repetition. It's also a poetic device. Right? Repetition is here. Amanda has been repeated. Then the poet says, don't bite your nails, don't hunch your shoulders. So even the word don't has been repeated in the beginning of the poem. In the beginning of these first and second lines, the word don't has been repeated. So it is an anaphora, A-N-A-P-H-O-R-A. So anaphora is a poetic device where a word is repeated in the beginning of the line. A word is repeated in the beginning of the lines. So don't word, 2 sentences of the first stanza, they start with don't. So it's an anaphora. Anaphora is a poetic device in which a word is repeated in 2 or more lines. And these lines, don't do this, don't do that, stop that. These words show the nagging attitude of the mother, mother who is scolding her daughter, who is restricting her daughter's freedom. So when Amanda might have been seen biting her nails, mother is telling her not to do this. When Amanda is sitting in a relaxed position, thereby bending forward, mother is again there to tell her not to do that. So when she's relaxing, when she's in a comfortable position, mother is again there to respect her freedom and tell her, like, don't sit like this, sit up straight. So these are all things. Don't bite your nails, don't hunch your shoulders. Don't hunch your shoulders means don't bend low, don't bend, uh, don't stoop too much. Slouching is a lazy way, the way you sit lazily. So she tells her, mother tells her to sit, tells her not to sit lazily, and commands her to sit up straight. So these commanding instructions by mother, how do they affect Amanda? Let's see. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. So there is a languid emerald sea. Languid is what? Like, which is going on and on, slowly and gradually, lazily. Emerald is a green sea. Soul is the only inhabitant, is the one who lives over there, the one dweller. Mermaid is a sea creature with the bottom part like a fish and upper part like a woman. Drifting is being, carried blissfully, happily. So the first stanza was something which was like spoken by mother, and second stanza is what the girl, imagines. This is girl's imagination. So here Amanda is imagining herself to be like a mermaid. She imagines herself to be like a mermaid who is all alone in a beautiful green sea. In a vast, beautiful green sea, she is all alone, and there she is being carried away by the sea waves happily. And there she is living a blissful, happy life, a life of solitude, a life of quietude, a life of, happiness, a life of beauty. So where in reality, the girl is living a life of, you can say, chaos, noise. Nobody is actually making noise around her, but only the mother who is nagging her constantly. That nagging attitude of a mother is no less than, a big noise for her. And actually, she wants to be away from this, din and noise, and wants to be in a calm and tranquil and beautiful sea, where she would be carried away by the waves without any noise, without any interruption, because she would be sole inhabitant, because she would be the only dweller of that sea as a mermaid. So she imagines her life to be like a mermaid, which is away from the din and noise of this house, where her mother is constantly nagging her for doing something or the other. But in the sea, no one will be there to interrupt her or restrict her freedom, and she will be free to move along the waves. Which waves? The waves of the sea, which is green. Sea is green in color. So emerald is actually a green stone. So how can the sea be emerald? Because its water looks green. So emerald sea is actually a metaphor. Okay, where the sea has been compared to an emerald, that is a green color. Because of its green color, it has been compared to an emerald. So here is a metaphor. So who is a sole inhabitant? This girl will be the sole inhabitant in the sea, because no one else will be there to disturb her in her solitude or in her tranquility. She'll be enjoying a blissful life away from the humdrum of life, where her mother would not be there to constantly nag her. So this is simple stanza where she imagines herself to be a mermaid in an emerald sea, being drifted blissfully. These things all show her rich imagination. These things all show like how vivid her imagination is. She's able to imagine herself in a beautiful sea, being carried away by the beautiful sea waves. So this imagination, is very, very important for a child's growth. Okay, in order, if you want the child to find place in this world, you should let the child have a rich imagination, because as rich the imagination of a child is, that creative, that innovative he becomes when he starts growing up on his or her own. So imagination is very important for creativity. So did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. So here is again, now it's another time. Once she would instruct her not to bite her nails, not to sit with hunched back, not to sit lazily, this, that. But and other times she would instruct her, she would inquire if she had done her work, or if she would inquire if she had cleaned up her room. She would inquire if she had cleaned her shoes also. So the nagging attitude of mother would never ever come to an end. She is constantly nagging her daughter. Did you finish your homework? Did you tidy your room? So here again, anaphora did. The words did have been used in 2 lines. That both of the first and second line, they start with the same word, that is did. So it's an anaphora. And second, the word Amanda has again been repeated. It is repetition, right? So again, the nagging attitude of the mother is being seen. Then what's the reaction of the mother, of the girl? I'm an orphan roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. So now the girl is imagining herself to be like an orphan girl who is roaming, who is wandering around the streets. So what kind of life an orphan lives? The orphan doesn't have to, orphan is a child who has no parents. And though it's not really good on part of a child to imagine oneself to be like an orphan, but here the child is not sounding very serious. The child is only imagining herself to be the one who is free from all restrictions and the one who can move about freely in the streets. See, where the mother is so particular about her cleaning the shoes, cleaning her room and all, there the girl actually imagines herself to be making designs with her bare feet. She imagines herself to be bare, to be there without slippers, without shoes, and she wishes to draw designs on the sand with her shoes, with her feet. Silence, the silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. So silence, where silence? The reality is mother is never silent. Mother is always creating fuss about one thing or the other. So the girl imagines this silence to be golden, silence to be as glorious, as beautiful, as shiny, like a golden, like a gold. Golden is actually color, golden color. So how can silence be of golden color? It's only a metaphor where silence has been compared to golden color, because silence is also glorified. Okay, and freedom is sweet. Freedom is freedom. You cannot taste freedom, but yes, you can imagine freedom to be as sweet as anything which is sweet. So freedom is also, sweet. So here metaphors like silence and freedom have been, these words have been, used as metaphors, where this girl has been shown as imagining herself to be like an orphan who is living a life of freedom and silence, where she would not have to bother about wearing the shoes and keeping her room tidy, or to keep her shoes tidy, because she would be moving about with bare feet upon the streets, and she would be free to make the designs upon the dust with her bare feet. So see, when her mother was asking her to clean the shoes and room, then the girl is imagining herself to be moving about with bare feet on the sands. So what she imagines and what her mother is constantly nagging her about. See the contrast. But even then, despite that nagging attitude of the mother, the girl is able to imagine. The girl is able to fantasize a world for herself, where there is freedom, where there is, silence, where there is, beauty of her own thoughts. Right? So don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne? Will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you, Amanda? So now the mother is again there to talk about other things. Now Amanda is being restricted from eating too many chocolates. The point is that she says that the chocolates cause too many pimples. So she must restrict herself from eating chocolates in abundance. And at the same time, mother has, observed that when she is instructing her daughter about one thing or the other, Amanda doesn't even look at her. So she tells her to look at her when I'm speaking to you. So this also shows that number one, the mother knows that Amanda has got quite irritated. Amanda is quite upset with her nagging attitude. She knows that her nagging attitude is not acceptable to Amanda. Even then, mother goes on and on with one thing or the another to instruct Amanda about. So again here, Amanda word has been repeated. That is the repetition. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda. Will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you? Will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you? So here, please, me, speaking, here E sound has been repeated, right? So it is an assonance. Assonance is a poetic device where the vowel sounds are repeated. Alliteration is when there is a repetition of a sound in the consecutive words. For example, in stop that slouching and sit up straight. Here, sir sound, stop, sir, slouching, sir, sit, sir, straight, sir. So here in the third line, stop that slouching and sit up straight. That was an alliteration. ALLITERATION. So in the third line, alliteration was used because that was a sir sound which was prominently used by the poet. Okay, stop that slouching and sit up straight. So here what's the purpose of alliteration? Alliteration is a poetic device in which there is a repetition of the same sound in the consecutive words. And what's the purpose of alliteration over here? Purpose is that the mother goes on and on. She doesn't stop. Her nagging, her scolding doesn't stop. Don't do this, don't do that, stop that, do this, set up this. So here there is a spontaneity in the scolding attitude of the mother. Constancy in the scolding attitude of mother that shows through the alliteration. The poetic devices, children, they are used not for the heck of it. The poetic devices are used to convey the theme of the poem also. Is that clear? So we were talking about the poetic devices. Stop that slouching. Here is an alliteration. Even don't hunch your shoulders. Even which sound is repeated over here? Don't hunch your shoulders. O sound is being repeated here. O is a vowel, and when there is a repetition of the vowel sound, we call it assonance. ASSONANCE. Please make note side by side. After the moment last stanza would finish, I'll ask you what is assonance, what is consonance. Consonance is when there is a repetition of the consonant sound, and assonance is when there is a repetition of the vowel sound. Alliteration is when there is the repetition of the consonant sound at the beginning of the word. For example, sir, 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 that was alliteration. O sound is repeated inside the words. Okay, when there is some vowel sound repeatedly used in a sentence, we call it assonance. Okay, so this last stanza, don't eat that chocolate and all. So there here again, mother was scolding her daughter for one thing or the another. But at the same time, mother also knows that the girl is not listening to her. Even then she goes on and on. I'm Rapunzel, I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. So shall I ask anyone the story of Rapunzel? How many of you know the story of Rapunzel? Raise hand, please. Rapunzel is a fairy tale which you people might have read by the time you people were in first, second standard. By the time second standard children are, they know who Rapunzel is. So only Prabgun? No one else knows who the story of Rapunzel? Prabgun, Jyotswarup also knows, Arshin also knows, okay. 4 children have raised hands. What about others? 5 children have raised. Khushi also knows. Yes, Mishti also knows. I'll ask anyone. Don't just raise hand for Okay, who else knows the story of Rapunzel? 6 children have raised hands. Nana, Arsheen, Khushi, Prabgun, Jyotswaroop, Mishti. What about others? Many of the girls might have been purchasing, Chayank also knows, good. Many of the girls might have been purchasing their pencil boxes or of bags of Rapunzel. At least all of you might be knowing the story of Rapunzel by this time. And very famous story of Rapunzel, very famous. Only 7 children know this. Okay, let's ask what the story is about. 8 children have raised hand. Parth also knows. So let's ask Parth. Parth, unmute yourself.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good morning, Parth. Yes, Parth, tell us the story of Rapunzel in brief.
Rapunzel was a princess who have very long and magical hairs, a witch has trapped him in his house. Okay. And a prince released him from there.
Yes. Okay, Parth.
Is this correct?
Okay, yes, that much is correct, but you didn't finish off very nicely. But anyways, you know this much. Okay. Okay, Nana, you tell us. Come on, Nana.
Good afternoon,
Nana. Anji, good afternoon, Nana.
Rapunzel is a princess who was kidnapped from a palace by a witch. She had golden long magical hair and she was locked in a tower by the witch. The witch didn't tell her about her origins and told her that she was her mother only and wanted to protect her from the world, which was very cruel to her. And she didn't let Rapunzel out. On her every birthday, Rapunzel watched the lights in the sky and wanted to go out, but she wasn't allowed by her mother. So on her 18th or 16th birthday, she escaped with the help of a thief who was also trying to escape from his partners. Was running away from her home and wanted to watch lights. She got to know about her real past and her real parents, and then she fought with her so-called mother and reunited with her parents.
Okay, that's great, Nana. Well done. Silent clap for her. You all can clap for her. Okay, this much is enough from Nana. Okay, now my question is, like in the poem, yes, all of you can clap for her. Only Khushi has clapped. You all can clap for Nana. Only Khushi clapped. Now Diti has clapped. Okay, Prabgun has also. Tarundeep, Arsheen, Parth, Prabnoor, no. So the point is that you all can clap for somebody who does something nice. Clap and let the clap be there. Yes, Ankita. Yes, Mishti. Aditi, yes. Karanjyoti, you can clap for the one who spoke the story. Okay. Yes, Saksham, you can also clap. Tarundeep, yes, okay, well done. Pushkar Jaggi has also clapped at least. Jayaditya, you can clap at least for somebody. Okay, Saksham, thank you. Keshav, thank you. Parth, thank you. Okay, Karanjyoti is still not there, I guess. Let me ask him. Karanjyoti, yes. Are you there? Karanjyot? Karanjyot, are you there? So no idea, Karanjyot. No, how can I go back? Yeah. Yes, thank you, children. Thank you, Nana. So my question still is there. I wanted to ask you, like when she says that I am Rapunzel, I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. What makes this girl imagine herself to be Rapunzel? Do you think here you might have already seen that as per the story, Rapunzel was kidnapped and was kept in the tower, okay, somewhere in the sea. The tower was somewhere in the sea. It was a lonely tower. Nobody was around that. And in the tower, she was all alone. And this girl imagines herself to be like Rapunzel, because this Amanda thinks that Rapunzel might have been living a very beautiful, peaceful life in that tower, because she was all alone, because she was away from her parents. She was not there. Her mother was not there always to nag her or to scold her. So she says that if I'm Rapunzel, I have not a care. Means I don't have to bother about anything. As Rapunzel, she could do anything what she wanted, because she was all alone there. And she imagines that the life in that tower would have been very peaceful. It would have been a very rare kind of life, which not many children have. Because most of the children, they have to live with their parents, or if not with parents, then they have to live with somebody or the other. And it's very, very rare that somebody lives in a tower, in a tower like Rapunzel. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. That's the main thing. And she knows that the Rapunzel was in trouble because of her long hair, because a witch would climb up the tower with her long hair only, which she had let down, right, through the tower. And she says that she would never let her hair down so that no one would be able to reach her. So here is a little variation, a little change. She doesn't want to be like Rapunzel. Why? Because she would never let her hair fall down from the tower so that no one reaches her. So she wishes if she were like Rapunzel, Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. What is tranquil? Very peaceful. Okay, something which is very, very peaceful, that is tranquil. Okay, care, rare, these are all rhyming words. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. I'll never let my hair fall from the tower. So up till here, Rapunzel, this girl was able to imagine whenever the mother would be scolding her, her counter action would be imagination. Instead of saying something, instead of arguing with her mother, she would only fall in her world of fantasy, and she would fantasize. Sometimes she would fantasize the world of a sea or of a mermaid. Then she would fantasize the world of an orphan. Then she would fantasize the world of Rapunzel. And finally, stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You're always so moody. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. So finally, when mother goes on and tells her not to be sulking at once. What is sulking behavior? Sulking behavior is when you are annoyed, but you don't let anyone know it. When you don't talk about the reason of your annoyance, when you don't talk about the reason of your agitation, when you just prefer to be quiet even when you are very upset, that is sulking attitude. And the sulking attitude comes up when you are near depression, or when you are very, very upset. When you think that talking to somebody will not help you out, that is sulking attitude. So stop that sulking at once, Amanda. So mother has been able to make out that Amanda has something in her mind, but she is not speaking out. But even then she is there to scold her for that. You're always so moody, Amanda. So what is being moody? When do the children become moody? When they are not able to find pace with their emotions. When they think like what they think will not be listened to by the parents, then they become moody. Sometimes they happen to be very happy. Sometimes they are very sad. So that is moody attitude. So mother scolds her for not being, for not to be sulking or moody, not to be unstable in her attitude, because she thinks that when anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda, why is mother telling her not to behave like this? Because she thinks that people will say that mother is very, mother keeps on scolding you. She says that people will say that I keep on scolding you. So don't behave like this. So the point is, mother knows that the child has fallen in some trouble, and she knows the reason for this. Even then, she doesn't want her child to be like that, so that she is not blamed for that. Mother doesn't want to be blamed for being a nagging mother, when the reality is that she is a nagging mother. That is the Hippocratic attitude of the adults. That is the tragedy which many children have to suffer. that their parents say something and don't actually believe in that. Yeah, it happens. So how many of you felt like, yeah, it happens with me also. It happens with me also. How many of you felt like that? Come on, raise hands. The bell has gone, but I would like to see. How many of you felt like, yes, this happens with me also? Come on, raise hands. How many of you identify yourself with Amanda? Raise hands. And don't hide feelings. It happens with many children. 90% children feel the same thing. 90% I'm saying. 10% might be very lucky because their parents might not be ever scolding them. That is very, very rare. Okay, anyways, now this is the time for us to leave. And children, yes, the poem has almost finished. Go through the questions. And if you're able to write those answers very well, if not, we can discuss them tomorrow. Okay. Okay, thank you, children. I'm not finding yes, you can leave on your own. You can join your next class. Thank God.